that is a presentation regarding Eastman Food and Beverage and the strategic vision briefing. This will include community survey results and an opportunity for questions. This is the last item on the agenda, so I'm not trying to rush people out, but the presentation should take about 20-25 minutes with an opportunity for questions after that. And I'm just trying to give you a heads up in terms of timing. Okay, thank you. Please go ahead, Steve.
All right, well, I'm going to try to share my screen here. There it is. Okay. This is awkward because we can't see you, and I'm guessing that folks can see the slide. So I wanted to thank initially the community for participating in the survey, the council for hosting this presentation, and I also wanted to thank the working group members that have been engaged for the last few months to get this work moving. The presentation this morning will have three folks sharing information: myself, Leslie Moses, and Audrey from Forbes. This presentation will be made available on the member portal, so the PowerPoint itself. In addition, the video of this presentation will be separated from the council meeting and posted on the homepage of the member portal. You'll also have access to the full survey report through the portal and this presentation. This slide right here is fairly self-explanatory. I did want to share with you kind of some of the roles or identify the members of this team. So you've got Audrey, Leslie, myself, Bill Madsen, former board president, who was board president when we brought in Forbes, and then Elaine Lasher, also a former board member who led the search for the current food and beverage vendor, and then Becky Myers, who is a current board member. I'll share that the work that we did was based heavily on the feedback that we got from members through the survey. We engaged a consultant to help us manage the survey, but also interview and spend time with some of the key players. So they spent a few days here dining, meeting with staff, meeting with the principals at Forbes, sharing perspectives. We did this work in the spring. We would have loved to have been able to share this a little sooner, so I appreciate the patience in allowing us the time to kind of share with the community, hopefully a little bit more of a finished product. We won't take any questions until the end, so please note your questions and share as we move through this. So I'm going to turn it over to Leslie.
Okay, great. Good morning. First, I also wanted to thank the working group for all their participation in this project. They gave up many beautiful summer afternoons to work on this, so very much appreciated. It is typical practice for community associations to require a minimum spend or a significant subsidy. Forbes doesn't want that. They want you to come to the restaurant because you want to be there and not because you need to spend a certain amount of money every month or year. Forbes has shared revenue with us last year, and they will again share revenue this year. They've been a committed partner since the beginning. Audrey and Eric relocated to Eastman, started a family, and did it all during COVID. You can see the restaurant has seen steady growth every year since opening. The prior restaurant, Bistro Nouveau, had a 5-year average of just over $700,000, which compares to Forbes' first year after COVID. You can see from the graph that, and I know no one is surprised by this, but the summer
Yeah.
is.
We're not getting
And
this.
we're not getting the slides. It's
Yeah.
just the first page.
You need to
Okay.
go to slideshow.
It is on slideshow.
It is, yeah.
So is it stuck on the first slide then?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe you want to stop sharing, try resharing, see if
Yeah.
that works.
Thank you for letting us know,
I wasn't sure if everyone was seeing that.
Yeah,
Because
because yours was there too, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now it's there.
Okay.
All right, great, thank you. Again, just to reiterate, steady growth, since they started. You can certainly see there's a pattern that the summer months are most profitable for the restaurant. Great.
Did you get a new slide there?
There is no question the community places a high priority on having food and beverage services available. This survey was responded to in the highest numbers of any recent survey. The consultant and the survey indicate that there is an opportunity to increase usage from within the community. Food quality, food variety, and ambiance were reasons that members chose to dine elsewhere. Price and service were not significant considerations. The satisfaction from those who frequent the restaurant more than once per month is quite good. Forbes has a strong group of supporters. The survey is one of the tools we use to drive our recommendations, and we see that the opportunity for growth is with the group that infrequently uses the restaurant. As Steve said, the survey report and the presentation will be available on the website. We anticipate it'll be up by Tuesday. So if you want to look at things a little more in depth, you'll have that opportunity. The consultant was very clear that Forbes should be commended for running a financially successful restaurant. They identified key areas for improvement, replacing and servicing kitchen equipment regularly to make sure the kitchen can run efficiently and without interruption. Routine maintenance and replacement when appropriate. The report identified best practices that have been implemented or were already being followed. Many of the storage spaces are shared at the center. ECA and Forbes have already coordinated to make the best use of these areas. There are a number of opportunities to increase marketing within the community and the local area. Decisions should be based on data, and this data is readily available in our software system. For example, I can tell you last month, the best-selling beverage, does anyone have a guess? Maine Lunch IPA. And the top-selling menu item was wings. Optimizing space utilization. This is really about how do we best use the spaces that we have. An example is the hearth room. It is primarily used for overflow from the tavern. Could that space be made into a fun lounge space or have a different function? The heating and cooling of the tavern in particular was identified as an improvement that will be well received. Updates to banquet chairs along with a refresh to decor was also identified. All right. So one of the top priorities or one of the recommendations from the consultant that they thought we needed to address first was, what's our vision? What do we want our food and beverage program to look like? And the working group spent a great deal of time on this. This vision reflects Eastman's ideal relationship with our food and beverage services vendor. It is clear that the food and beverage services are an integral part of our community, and we must have a successful partnership with our vendor that offers a financially sustainable business opportunity. I'd probably leave this slide up just for a minute so everybody can read that, Steve. And this was our visual of, the ideal situation. So Forbes and the community will benefit from a symbiotic relationship that prioritizes financial success and member satisfaction. Right. A priority was placed on food offerings and creating an inviting space. Marketing efforts that bring members into the restaurant to experience improvements will be important. Opportunities also exist outside of the center. Catering of special events and working more closely with the golf operation. The current contract will be reviewed and modified as needed to emphasize the partnership between ECA and the vendor. All right, so investing in facilities. ECA has identified and budgeted or requested funds for the following. These items should be done in the short term and will help make the restaurant a more welcoming space. Upgrade the HVAC system. Money has been requested in next year's capital budget to replace the rooftop unit. This should fix issues with the heating and cooling cycles in the tavern. Our hope is that you no longer will need to bring your down jacket to the tavern in July. Replace flooring. The carpet is past its useful life and needs to be replaced in all of the spaces. The banquet chairs need to be replaced. Many are broken, and there's clearly an update needed there. We also believe we should secure a consultant to recommend changes to decor. It makes sense to have someone experienced in interior design help make sure our design is cohesive and has the Eastman aesthetic. Longer term, the work group recommends that the community should explore changes to the layout and other ways to enhance the space. This could be connecting the hearth room and tavern into one space, making the transition between the kitchen and the dining spaces more efficient, or expanding the deck. This sort of renovation will be significant and will require community support. The shorter term projects will be welcome improvements and should not wait until decisions on major capital projects are considered. All right, I'm gonna hand it over to Audrey so that she can talk about what she learned from the survey and the report and her thoughts on Forbes moving forward.
I would also like to start off by thanking the working group, Steve, Leslie, Bill, Elaine, and Becky, for being a part of this with me and helping Eastman and Forbes have an even stronger working relationship and helping me as the owner to reach new goals and continuously expand from where we started 4 years ago. We feel that what you've seen from us is only just the beginning. We've accumulated a solid staff over the last year and a half. And continue to change our menus and be creative, are always looking for the next opportunity for our new events and to be a part of any of the other activities happening in the community. And we're excited to be involved in the decor and building changes in the future. We're grateful to have had the experience with the consultants. They've sparked a new and exciting energy from not only Eric and I, but from the staff as well. The more success that we have, the more motivation that comes to continue to expand, and for Forbes and Eastman as a whole. The hearth room has been probably our biggest challenge on how to best use that space. As of now, it's always kind of been like an overflow room, a room that we use for people that don't want to be part of trivia or any of the other live entertainment events going on in the tavern. We're working on ideas to redesign the room into maybe more of like a lounge vibe, have themed menus, have different activities in there, paint and sips. We continue to brainstorm on how to best utilize that space. We're committed to putting out new and creative menus, implementing effective training methods to ensure consistency and quality no matter who is in the building, and expanding on more fun events for all ages. We have a fall menu coming in the next couple of weeks, and we've already started to make sure that our Bible, which is like our main kitchen book, has all the recipes and plating instructions, and making sure that everything's up to date so that anybody in the kitchen is able to execute dishes to our standards. Hours of operation have also been a challenge for us since beginning 4 years ago. When we first started, we were very optimistic about just being open every hour of the day. And we quickly learned that that is not the best for operations. The frustration with trying to be open during these hours and people leaving the community, not living here in the off months, it's resulted in us not expanding hours. This off season, we're trying to possibly be open for 6 nights a week instead of 5. We're working on ways to make the additional night a success and worthwhile. We do feel that it's hard for community members and patrons to keep up with the changing hours all the time. So we're trying to reduce it from kind of a 4 season hour of operation to 2. Our theme nights have always been a huge success, with a lot of participation from those in the community and outside, and we're excited to continue them and creatively come up with new ideas. Trivia and cornhole kind of exploded. Cornhole has gotten so big that we have to turn people away at the door, which has been awesome. So we're trying to figure out new ideas that maybe have as much popularity as these two. As I've said from the beginning, Eric and I are always open and welcome to ideas. If people in the community have things that you would like to see happen, or you have ideas for themes, activities, please feel free to share them with us. Go to the marketing. With the great number of people who responded to the survey, nearly half of them indicated that they rarely get to the restaurant. To Eric and I, these are the people that are our target audience. I think we've put a lot of pressure on ourselves to market to those outside of Eastman. And this number and statistic from the survey really stuck out to me. Our focus should be convincing those that live here to take a look at the restaurant. And I was shocked at how many people that live in Eastman don't even know that there's a restaurant here to begin with. Moving forward, my marketing goals have shifted a little, and I'm more committed to finding the best outlets to reach as many people in Eastman as possible. Signage has been a topic of discussion since we started at the restaurant as well, and it's become obvious that part of the challenge is that some people don't even know the restaurant is here. I'm very pleased that Leslie and Steve are dedicated to improving the signage. We look forward to finding a way to reward our repeat customers. We also are excited to encourage more people to dine more frequently. We're exploring different loyalty programs, mug clubs, all that sort of stuff. I will be also ensuring that I get advertisement outs for new happenings at the tavern, with a little bit more of a time frame. I have found that Eastman residents love to know what's going on, but don't love to commit to things right away. So I'm allowing myself a little bit more time to make sure that we get the information out that we need to. And then just there have been a lot of challenges in the last 4 years. We are proud of the success that we've had, and I feel as though that I'm kind of home again, which I've always found comforting in being here in the last 4 years. I've been a part of this community since I was young, and I not only feel lucky to have a small business here, but I feel lucky to be able to raise my 2 children in the Eastman community. We try to take part in all of the events that I can find time for. And we really enjoy all the amazing people that we've met and have been able to interact with. We've developed a very strong following, and we very much appreciate the support that so many have shown us. I really believe that we're a different restaurant than we were 4 years ago, even within the last year. And we excitedly invite all of those that have not dined with us in quite some time to come visit us again. And I don't often get the chance to thank the community as a whole in a public forum. So I would like to extend my gratitude to everybody that has supported us and continues to support us.
It's still you.
So we are going to put our best efforts into trying to be more involved in events that happen at South Cove, such as Rock the Dock, figuring out ways to incorporate Forbes and food in all of those events. We're excited to expand outside from maybe just being so centralized at the center, and all the other events that take place in this community. We are continuing to try to figure out the best approaches in the pro shop, and being involved in as many golfing, tournaments, events, whatever, as that we possibly can. So we're constantly looking for ways to be more involved outside of the center.
All right. So one of the areas that we need to address is the next contract. So the existing contract expires just about a year from now, which may sound like a long time away, but in reality, for us to be able to achieve what we need to do, it's not all that far away. And so how do we create a new contract? What's our approach? And I'll say that the vision that we've shared this morning is the vehicle that will drive how this next contract will be shaped. It's incredibly important for us. I think the vision reflects the historical and traditional interaction and relationship that the community expects with its food and beverage vendor. So how do we make that appear in a contract? Well, there's certain parts of a contract that aren't going to be vision related. There's just going to be kind of the nuts and bolts. And so, we'll begin by obviously reviewing our own contract, but then what do we have from other clubs and associations? I've got a good relationship with what's called large scale managers. So Eastman is considered a large homeowners association. Anything that has more than 1,000 units and 2,000 acres is considered large, and we check both those boxes. So there's a very active listserv, and I've been able to connect with them on a number of issues and anticipate that will again be an excellent resource. Certainly reviewing and polling board and staff and our current provider Forbes to share their comments. We've already kind of identified a few changes for the next contract, length of contract, the revenue sharing model between the vendor and ECA currently doesn't seem like it incentivizes kind of more revenue. So we're thankful for the success of Forbes and the revenue they've been able to share, but we think there's another model out there that might be a little more advantageous to both. And as was already discussed, hours of operation, we have 4 separate time frames that we've identified. And does that make sense to kind of continue? So the contract expires September 30th, 2025. We start kind of the work this fall. Board and staff will determine if we go out for a bid, request for proposal, late fall, early winter. As kind of an aside, ECA and Forbes, our window is relatively short with which we can renegotiate a contract, only 120 days prior to the expiration, so really June of 2025. So we want to make sure that if we get into that 120 days, that we've got our ducks in a row, that folks are comfortable with what we're talking about, and we're not caught kind of rushing at the end. So feel good about where we are in terms of timing and planning for the next contract, and I think the community is in good shape there. Next steps. That's me, yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So next steps for all this work. Obviously, this is the first time that we've been able to share the full breadth of what this working group has done over the last few months. We've certainly shared vision statements and timelines with the board throughout the summer, but this is really the first time that we're presenting everything to the community, and really will be the first time for the community to have full access to the survey report. So obviously we want to get some more feedback from the community of what you've heard today and what we may have missed from the survey report. We're going to provide recommendations to the board in October. this working group will dissolve in October. This is not a long-term committee or group. So once they identified an action plan and share it with the board, that group goes away, and then the real work begins. So again, the full survey report is available on the member portal. This presentation will be separate, and please share it with other community members. And that is it. And I'm going to stop sharing and open it up for questions, if that's okay, Judy. Yeah. So looks like Larry has a question.
A comment too. A number of years ago, we stopped using Forbes by group. It's called Mocha, men of a certain age. No joke. And the food was bad, the service was bad, etc. And what I'm commenting on now is the significant change in that restaurant. We have absolutely no hesitation of booking our meetings there. We just had one. And the food is great and the service is great. The problem is, I don't think people like us outside realize what a significant change has been made. So whatever we could do to be helpful, I would encourage the staff at the restaurant and your committee to involve us. There was only one hesitation I had. I had knee trouble, and there were no chairs with arms, which I think is a handicapped accessible issue. So I would encourage the current staff to consider, as Steve, some purchasing and making available of handicapped accessible chairs so that more people who can't get up out of those other chairs are able to use the restaurant. Thank you.
Okay. Appreciate that, Larry. Looks like Jerry, who sent it for Patrick.
Hi, this is Jerry. I didn't unmute myself, but now I have. So I want to start by saying that my husband, Rick, and I, we just love Audrey and Eric and the staff there and the job that they've done. We just love that place. I noticed that some people haven't gone. I'll tell you, one of the best experiences in Eastman that you can ever have, sit on the deck and watch the fall colors just bloom into their glory. What a beautiful place to sit, enjoy some food, some drinks, some coffee, whatever, and watch the nature that we enjoy so much here in Eastman just amaze us. So if you haven't been in a while, now's the perfect time to go and sit on the deck and enjoy what you can see. Number two, I noticed another comment in there about some diners might view that it's a little noisy in there. What they could do is maybe make the hearth room an experience for those who would like quieter dining, and allow the tavern to be for those of us who just enjoy gathering with friends, laughter, talking across the room with people we know. It's a great place and it's a great environment. And I think it can house both people who want a quieter dining experience and those of us who just come and want to be with friends. So thank you, Audrey and Eric, and to the committee for providing this opportunity. And, like Larry, I encourage you all to go out there. It is a different place. It is an improved place and you will love it.
Right.
Other questions or comments for us? Okay, well, appreciate the time again, and please stay tuned.